Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and I'm very happy to be back. Of course, like I said before, had a little bit of doldrums here in July. Not a whole lot to talk about, but I know we talked last time about our TIERMAKER as far as the AFC, the conference, and I wanted to get your opinion, and I put the poll out, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but we're going to go over the AFC West by position, and I see a few of you already joining in. There's already a number of people coming in. There's some people coming in on TikTok as well. So you see this right here. You can see that I'm also doing this on TikTok as well as YouTube. You can go there as well at Raider Champion. Hello, Sandy B. Hello, Earth Daughter. How are you? I see Dominique 5. How are you guys doing today? You guys have a good day today? I hope so. It's Friday. We're a couple weeks away from training camp, and everything's going to be all bright and sunny, and a lot more Raider content coming your way here from this channel. So let's see. I want to say hi to there's a few people that have joined in TikTok as well. How are you? Unique E, how are you doing? They have some of the most inventive names in TikTok if you're not on the TikTok side of the thing. Hey, Paul Gaines, how are you doing? I see you here as well. If you are new here, this is how we normally do our format. I'm going to be talking for a little while, and let's get right to that as far as the rundown. You can see this here. These are the topics that we're going to be talking about today, of course. And then at the end, we're going to have our question and answer segment with you guys. And that, to me, that's the most important part of the show is with you guys. I want to bounce off the ideas from you and what you think. So we are going to go over the AFC West rankings by position. That's the meat of our live stream tonight. But we've got a few other things to take care of first. So let's do that.
I hear everyone say, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now, as far as the new champions, that's our new subscribers. Kind of stalled out on YouTube. TikTok kind of went up, and then they did this big clearing. I guess I had some bot subscribers. They took those out, but I'm recovering nicely. So overall, pretty good. I expect these numbers to really jump up once we start getting into training camp, the preseason, and of course the regular season. So as far as the poll of the week, we do this every week on YouTube. I have a poll of the week, and it's relevant to the live stream that's going to be coming up normally on Fridays. And this was the poll of the week here. I asked, what kind of TIERMAKER would you want to do this time around? We did the AFC power rankings as far as it conference-wise by team. And overwhelmingly, you guys wanted to take a look at the AFC rankings by position. We're going to be doing that in just 1 second. But yes, do hit that like button if you are enjoying this. Subscribe, follow, hit the likes on TikTok and follow there as well. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Sandy B. I see you there commenting as well. Let's see. As far as the poll of the week, overwhelmingly, you guys wanted to do this. But the first thing had a little bit of Raider news, of course. This one came out very recently. We did hire a brand new team president, and her name is Sandra Douglas Morgan. And, you know, some people are saying, well, this is, you know, same thing with the Raiders. We break boundaries. You know, we had the first black head coach, first Hispanic head coach, one of the first black quarterbacks. Of course, we had the first woman in the front office, all these things, you know. Most of that, of course, was done under Al Davis, not Mark Davis, but you know, we're kind of breaking boundaries as well. He feels the same way. So this lady, she came from, you can see it here, chairwoman and executive director of the Nevada Gaming Control Board. I'm not so sure about how I feel about that. Of course, she's a local, but you know, it kind of gives me casino vibes if you've seen the movie. But you know what? I think it's more honestly is to do this. Now, this was an article that came out in Las Vegas Review-Journal. Mark Davis saying that he's addressing the alleged cultural issues within the organization. And we talked about that, about the old president accusing Mark Davis of some hostile work environment issues. They also hired a woman as their new VP of Human Resources. So I don't know a whole lot about her, but to me, this sounds more like a hire to try to do some damage control. Not to say she couldn't do the job. And frankly, this is more on the business end. This is not on the football end. So to me, I'm not real worried about it. They don't have stock, but it's antitrust with the NFL. But you know, unless I had like stock in it, I really wouldn't care. I think the team, as far as if you look at it like a business or a company, it's going to make money. It's got a new stadium and a great venue. I don't have an issue with that. I'm more worried about the football side and the X's and O's and winning championships. So, but it does kind of hint at doing some damage control here with Mark Davis. That said, let's get right to what we want to talk about, and that is this tier maker for the AFC West 5 position. Hang on a second. I got some people in TikTok wanting to go live with me. I don't know who they are, so that's not going to happen. I might do that later on with somebody I know, Raider fans. That these are people I have no idea who they are. We the Ops, I see you in here as well. Welcome, as well as Antoine Johns 1. How are you doing? So let's get right to this. So I'm going to pull this up. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up. So this is our tier maker. I also made a little spreadsheet, and I wanted to do these. I will pull this. Nah, I'm not going to pull that. We're going to put our banner here. We don't really need this. So if you see here, here's their tier maker. This is basic tier maker list by each position. All the way down, offense and defense, and we're going to mark these in order 1 through 4. And then right here, I made this right here, a little spreadsheet, so you can see who each player is at these positions. And I'm going to give my opinion on why I chose these 1 through 4. Of course, I'm more realistic. I didn't choose the Raiders first and everything, but we'll get to that in a minute. Also, I didn't put a lot of backups. These are mostly starting players at these positions, with the exception, I think, of running back, because there's usually a committee. So I added 2 there. We'll get to that in a minute. Also, on the defensive side, the last 2 teams primarily run a 3-4 defense. So the alignments are going to be a little bit different as far as the interior defensive lineman and the edge. So conflict of interest? I don't think so. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Paul Gaines, yes, absolutely. So we're going to go over the first one. That's quarterback. So you can see the 4 quarterbacks here. Of course, Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Russell Wilson, the newly arrived from Seattle here. So I'm going to be a little creative with this as far as going through here. I'm going to put the Broncos and Russell Wilson at 4 right now. Wilson did not have a great season. I know people are saying, oh, well, his offensive line. We'll get to the offensive line of the Broncos in a minute. I'll talk about that. But I am not completely sold on it. I think the Broncos spent way too much draft capital with him. I talked about that before. And he had a little bit of a down season. And, you know, it's not like he didn't have anybody to throw to. You had Metcalf. He had Tyler Lockett. And, of course, this isn't a denigration. This quarterback group might be the best quarterback group. Some say of all time in a division. I would say probably definitely within the division today. Of the 8 divisions, we're probably the strongest at QB. The next one, I'm going to go third, and you can see who I'm grabbing here. Who I'm grabbing here, and that is Justin Herbert. I'm going to put him third. Great up-and-coming guy, a little bit young. I'm willing to see, I want to see a little bit more from him. I think he had a lot more tools than Derek Carr. To me, this one was kind of close, to be honest with you. Hey, Sandy, thanks for the likes. I appreciate that. And the flowers, we're the ops. I appreciate that as well. But ultimately, the play-in game, it was a tough one. You could say the coaching screwed it up, but I think Carr came through, and the bottom line is he won the game. I think Herbert's great. I think he's going to be a good quarterback for years to come. But I think I have Derek Carr just a little bit ahead of him, and I'm going to put them up here just a little bit ahead. And that means I'm going to put Patrick Mahomes number 1. I'm going to explain this. Okay. Let's see. So this is my ranking as far as teams. Derek Carr, good. He has been reloaded, especially we'll talk about the wide receiver position with Devontae Adams. But to me, Mahomes and the Chiefs, they are the 8-time champions in the division. Mahomes has won a Super Bowl already. Carr has not. So for right now, I got to put Mahomes a little bit ahead of Carr. And Carr and Herbert are pretty even. I think Wilson's declining, but he's still going to be good. A hell of a lot better than Drew Lock. So, like I said, this division is loaded at quarterback, so it's not really a slam on any 4 of these guys. You can put in your opinions now, or we can move on to the running back position. We'll do that. So as far as the running backs go, so you can put them in now. I'll get to those comments, and I'll just scroll this up. So you can see here, I basically have the primary and the backup here, if you could take a look at that. So I'm going to go the opposite way this time. I'm going to go number 1, and I'm going to say it's, let's see, Javonte Williams and Gordon as the combination. I think they had a pretty solid running game, those two last year. They brought Gordon back. He was a free agent. I think they probably have the best running game in the division, to be honest with you. And I don't think it's going to change much. We'll talk about the offensive line in just a second. We'll get to that. But my number 2, and some people might say I'm going to be a homer about this, but you know what? I'm putting the Raiders here, and here's why. I'm hoping that Josh Jacobs is healthy at least for half of the year. I like Zeus here. Zamir White is his backup, a between the tackles guy. I absolutely love this draft pick. And there's not a lot of learning curve as far as running backs go, as far as rookies. So I honestly think the Raiders probably will have at least the second best running game in the division. So that gives us 2 more. This one's, this one, I mean, some people would say the Chargers should be second or even first. I'm going to put them third. I think they missed out on Zamir White, the guy they wanted all along. We jumped up and grabbed them. It was well done by our front office staff there during the draft. But they did get Isaiah Spiller between the tackle, running back. Austin Eckler is an absolute stud. But honestly, the Chargers are more in the passing game. I did put them third at quarterback. That's a tough one. You can kind of move those around, but I don't think they're as good as the Denver or the Raiders running the ball. Cross your fingers on Jacobs. Yeah. Let's see. So that means I put the Chiefs fourth. They don't run the ball a whole lot. I could see them running the ball more this year. We'll get to the offensive line in a minute. The offensive line has improved in the last couple of years since they got destroyed in that Super Bowl with Tampa. They really rebuilt it, did a pretty good job. We'll get to that in a minute. And there's reports that Clyde Edwards-Helaire has felt the best he has. I think they'll take a step up. They're going to improve their running game, but I still don't think it's as good as these other 3 teams. They got Ronald Jones in free agency from Tampa. Leonard Fournette took his job basically. I believe he was a first-round, second-round pick in Tampa a long time ago. Didn't make it there. He's okay. He kind of bounced back. Had a lot of struggles earlier on in his career. Bounced back. Not really scared, not a big threat. CH is a good balance, but they did lose Tyreek Hill. We're going to get to that right now. As far as the wide receiver core and what they did, the Chiefs here. So as you can see, I'm gonna go first place again. I mean this is pretty obvious. Whoop. It's a little hard to scroll and move this up and have everything in place so you can. I want to make sure you guys can see this and the tier makers as we go. So if you have any issues, let me know. So I got the Raiders first in receiving. Obviously, Hunter Renfrow is a Pro Bowler. Devontae Adams, arguably the best wide receiver in the game. I think Demarcus Robinson coming over from the Chiefs is going to be a nice fourth option. Of course, they have Darren Waller. I think overall, I'm enjoying this. Of course, I just wanted to go over the starters. I'm going to go over every position. So I have the Raiders at number 1. So who do I have at number 2? I got to go here with the Chargers. Whoop. My scroll went a little wonky there. I have the Chargers at number 2. They re-signed Mike Williams, who was in free agency. Keenan Allen's, you could say he's more on the backside of his career, but still effective. I put Jalen Guyton here. I think he's going to be the number 3 guy overall. And of course, like I said, the Chargers are pass first. Even with Austin Eckler, I believe Austin Eckler does more damage outside the tackles and catching the ball and going for scores. So they're more pass first, and I think they're probably the second most formidable, especially with Tyreek Hill being gone from the Chiefs. So now, who do I have as third? Might surprise you a little bit. I'm going with the Denver Broncos here. This is a scrappy young little group of wide receivers they have. They have Sutton, they have Patrick, who are big kind of wide receivers. Jerry Jeudy had the drops. I know a lot of people wanted him over Ruggs in the draft. And they also got a guy named KJ Hamler. Could be a breakout candidate this year, especially with Russell Wilson throwing the ball. I think their issues in the passing game definitely were in the receiving core, is more on the quarterback throwing the ball. I have them third. And then last, I got to go with the Chiefs. And I'm not real impressed with Juju Smith-Schuster. Marquez Valdez-Scantling will be decent, but I still don't think they've completely filled the hole that Tyreek Hill has. And Mecole Hardman's there as well. I know they drafted Sky Moore. Josh, they still have like 50-year-old Josh Gordon. He hasn't been truly relevant in a few years, so I'm not worried about him. Sky Moore could do some damage too, but again, this is a loaded division. Not a lot. I think more on the defense. Once we get to the defensive side, you'll see more gaps. These are pretty close, I think, but I do think the Raiders are head and shoulders above with the wide receiving core. Obviously, they have arguably the best wide receiver in the game, and Devontae Adams now. As far as the tight ends, let's go to the tight ends. Scroll this so you can see. Scroll this as far as tight ends. I'm still going to have to give it up for Kansas City. Obviously, Travis Kelce has been the best for a few years now. Some say he might be slowing down. He might be. Hey, Misty, how you doing? But still, he is still the best until he's not. And that's how I feel about it. And really, realistically, it's not an argument. Of course, I'm going to put Darren Waller second. But he's not that far behind, especially if he can keep himself healthy. He had that wacky injury with Dallas. Kept him out. Some people say he kind of sat out for a while because he was upset. Could they throw a little bit more money his way? That might happen. We talked about that in the previous live stream. But still, as far as talent goes, Waller's right behind him. The next one's might be a little controversial, but I don't think so. It's Denver here at number 3. I call him Big O. I'm going to try to pronounce his name here. Albert Okwuegbunam. Pretty solid guy. I mean, even PFF has him ranked over 90 in man-to-man receiving. So, and I've seen him before. They didn't really lose much with Noah Fant. And you got Russell Wilson. He could be a nice little sleeper if you play fantasy football and you're willing to pick rivals. You know, most of you are in here are probably Raider fans, of course. But yeah, but don't necessarily sleep on Gerald Everett here with the Chargers. I'm going to put them fourth. Serviceable guy, not terrible. Had a pretty good season a couple years back with the Rams. I wouldn't expect a whole lot. I think he's probably the fourth option at best, but very serviceable, and he could probably move the chains for you. All right, here we go. This is where I'm going to get some dislikes. So get your thumbs down button ready. We're going to be talking about the offensive line, and I got to get real. I got to get real about this, guys. I don't like it, but I got to be real here. I'm going to put the Chiefs at number one. You know, a couple seasons back, after they got their asses handed to them by Tampa, those tackles looked terrible. I know they were injured. They got rid of them. They went and got Orlando Brown. They traded for him. Andrew Wiley has been very serviceable and has done very well against Max Crosby. So, and then they went and drafted Creed Humphrey. Thuney they got in free agency. Trey Smith was a lower round draft pick who's worked out pretty well. I think top to bottom, they're the best offensive line. And really, that kind of spells trouble for us and the other teams in the division. That gives Mahomes more time to do his thing. Number two, I got to go with the Chargers here. They spent a lot of money in draft capital here. Corey Lindsley, they got free agent from Green Bay. Rashawn Slater, first round pick. Been as advertised. They went and got Zion Johnson this year. Storm Norton. Lucas Niang, he replaced between him and Lucas Niang, or kind of back and forth with that. But I did serviceable. I don't think they're as good as the Chiefs, but I would say they're the second best offensive line. So that leaves 3 and 4. I'm going to go with the Raiders third, and this is primarily why I think Colton Miller is the best offensive lineman in the division. If you look at all these, even better than Garrett Bowles, who's a pretty good left tackle. A lot of stuff up in the air here. I know the Broncos kind of stepped up last season. The year before, they looked like trash. A lot of these guys. Cushenberry looked terrible in his rookie year. He bounced back. Dalton Reisner didn't look that good. Glasgow, not that good at all. They got Turner in free agency. I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be good enough. Plus, with that running game, I think that'll help Denver. But I would say they're the worst offensive line. I'm optimistic with Alex Leatherwood securing that right tackle spot. I've been saying it all along. The guards, who knows? I think Dylan Parham as a rookie is going to be the center. And I know a lot of people like James. I'm not so sure about James. Thank you very much for the TGIF and the footballs, Diane. I see that. I'm trying to look. Apologize, probably a little bit late on that as far as TikTok goes. I do appreciate that. So that does it as far as our offensive side. Let's get to the defensive side of the ball. And of course, we're going to start with the interior defensive linemen, rather. So if you take a look, I have two here. These are the two starters, projected starters. Like I said, we don't know right now. We're really not going to know until the end of training camp, to be honest. And then over here, I put 3 because these guys run a 3-4, so I put the nose and the 2 defensive ends. I'll put the outside linebackers in these positions as edge, so just so you know. And then the linebackers, they'll have 2 linebackers just for the format. You're staying for the boom boom after. Yeah, we'll talk about that in the Q&A if you want. It'll be a little bit after this. So as far as the interior offensive linemen, I know you guys are not going to be too happy with me, but I gotta give it up to the Chiefs, and here's why. We'll talk about the edge. I know Chris Jones was playing outside, but he's much better inside, and they drafted an edge rusher to handle that. They're going to move him back inside. Derek Noddy is not, I would put him as an above average defensive tackle, average to above average. So those two together, I think Chris Jones is the best interior. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to take any just those guys on TikTok. I'm not going to take any duets or lives right now unless I know you and something's scheduled. Maybe a little bit, sometime later we'll do that. But I like to look at it here. I think Chris Jones is the best interior lineman in the AFC West, and it's not even close, to be honest with you. So I got the Chiefs first there. Let's see. Next up, you could say I'm being a homer. I'm going to put the Raiders. Not to say that the Raiders are secure there. I know they got Bilal Nichols from the Bears. There's a lot of optimism with him. Jonathan Hankins had a kind of a reversal of fortune last season. Did do so well. Finished the season pretty strong, though, on the interior run game. Big guy. But not to say that I wouldn't mind an Ndamukong Suh here. This is more of an indictment against the other two teams left, how terrible I think their interior defensive line is, to be honest with you. So third, I'm going to go with Denver. They did get some free agency, DJ Jones, Draymond Jones, to couple with Purcell. I still don't think that's going to do it for them. They were terrible last year. And then the Chargers, Jerry Tillery. How many times I got to talk about Jerry Tillery? He's moved out to defensive end. He was their first round nose tackle. Couldn't cut it. They got Austin Johnson and Sebastian Joseph Day in free agency. I'm not so convinced about that. I think they'll be better, but they were terrible. It's like I would say they go from an F to a D. So thanks for the follow, Bearface54. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So again, I want to look at your comments. If you have comments along the way, I'll take them as we go, or we'll just save them for the Q&A. It's your choice. So let's move on to edge rushers. So again, like I said, if it's a 4-3, mainly 4-3, I'll take the defensive ends. If it's mainly a 3-4, I will take the outside linebackers. So just to let you know how we're doing this. Of course, I'm going to have to be a homer here. Not necessarily a homer, but I think they were arguably the best last season, and they did an upgrade. Yannick Ngakoue is gone. Chandler Jones is in. Definite upgrade there. Overall, I think Max Crosby is probably the best here, even better than Joey Bosa. In my opinion, some people probably 1A, 1B, if you don't ask Raider fans for sure. But I think overall, that's the best right there. Yes, Sandy B, like you said, hit the thumbs up button. If you are enjoying this, hit the subscribe button. That way more people see it, and I'll have more chance to do content like this. You know, that's the name of the game, getting more subscribers, getting more people here, and I want more opinions from the Raider Nation, as well. So my second pick shouldn't be too much of a surprise, to be honest with you, is the Chargers. They went and got Khalil Mack. I think it's a 1-year rental. I talked about this. I think I believe he'll be $23 million on their cap next year, but they could get away from it completely if they cut him. I think it's a 1-year rental. Do I think he's as good as he was with the Raiders? No, but he's still good, still serviceable. They still got Joey Bosa there. They're going to be very formidable, to be honest with you. And number 3 is the Chiefs. They moved Jones in. They got Karlaftis in the draft, an edge rusher, to team up with Frank Clark. This is, and I said this before, to me, this is the scariest front four we're going to have to face in the division by far. With Jones inside, this is not going to be fun for us. I really, truly hope we have the offensive line set up for that. Thank you very much for the comments, Sandy B, on that. And then of course I'm gonna put the Broncos for. This was number 1 back in the day. I mean, even with Chubb as a rookie with Von Miller, then Von Miller got hurt, kind of took a step back. Of course, you know, he's not spring chicken anymore. They traded him. Like I said, I thought he would be gone anyway. They weren't going to re-sign him, but they ended up trading him to the Rams. He's with Dallas now. He signed a deal. But Bradley Chubb, not the same guy as Von Miller. He was drafted in the first round, had some injury concerns. And then you got Randy Gregory here. Very interesting case, Dallas Cowboy. His biggest issue is that can he stay out of trouble off the field? A decent, I'm not going to say he's a great edge rusher. He's pretty good at times. I think a bit of a liability on the run side, though, to be honest with you. So I've got them 4th. I think these 3 are A grade, and this is probably more of a C grade if I was to grade it out. There's a gap. So let's get to the linebacking core. And again, 4-3, 3-4, so you can see. And this is the projected starters. This is who I think is going to start. Some people might have somebody different. This is kind of the base 4-3, just to let you know. And I went through this. Honestly, I'm not too impressed overall across the board, but the way I did this, I'm going to pick the team with the best linebacker in the division. You know, and right now that's Denzel Perryman, a Pro Bowl guy, top 5 guy in tackles, inside guy. He can't cover. We know that. That's not his game. He's an inside guy. He's the best one. And then I went with the second best, and that's probably Nick Bolton. He's projected to be outside. I think I like him inside more. He played that way in college. I think he's a little bit better there, but still a solid player. And then these other 2, and I've talked about this before. I'm going to give a slight edge just with Drew Tranquill. Not a great linebacker, but he has a lot of great presence, and he's a pretty smart guy. He kind of schooled us in that first game. Blitzing exactly, knowing where to go, the gaps and all that. I give it a slight edge. And then Denver, I think both these teams are kind of a liability in the middle of the field. I talked about that before. So let's see. Great job, over 5K. Ooh, wow, I see that. 5,700 likes. I do appreciate that. Holy smokes. And in Facebook, Facebook and TikTok. And we got 20 views and 15 likes on YouTube. That's excellent, guys. Thank you. I do appreciate that. So let's finish this up with the cornerbacks and the safeties. Now, corner, I just took the projected starters. There's a lot you could be said there. But I just want to kind of make this basic. I'm looking at who's going to be starting on the team. This is where I might get some more dislikes, to be honest with you. As far as number 1 team, I'm going to give it to the Chargers. They went out and spent money on J.C. Jackson. Not to say he's a world beater. I think Devontae Adams will be able to handle him, but they have Asante Samuel Jr. as well. They got in the draft before. I think that's the best duo of the bunch, to be honest with you. Next up, I've got the Denver Broncos. This was kind of tough between them and KC. I like Patrick Surtain II. I was wondering if they went Micah Parsons, but, you know, this guy, I know Parsons got Rookie of the Year, but this guy is no slouch. Darby is a decent type veteran on the other side as far as corners. But Surtain is a stud, an absolute stud. And then I went with the Chiefs. They got Trent McDuffie in the draft. He's already highly rated by PFF. I'm not so sure. There's a little bit of a learning curve with the cornerback position. Snead's okay. So I did put them 3rd, which means I put the Raiders last. Might get some dislikes on that. It is what it is. Here's my reasoning. We got a player we drafted for a throw-in player with the unique Ngakoue deal. Not to say he's not good. Good man skills, okay. And then we have Trayvon Mullen, former 2nd-round pick. This is going to be his last year with the team. He's on his 4th year. Been injured off and on, and when he does play, honestly, it's hot and cold. To me, this is one of our liabilities, as you can see here. A lot of improvements elsewhere. I think we're okay elsewhere. I'd like a little bit of improvement here. But these 2 teams, their defensive tackles stink, in my opinion, overall. Not to say we're so great because we're 2nd. And then here, so let's get to the last one, and that is safety. So I just put the projected starting free safety and strong safety here. First one I'm going to have to go with again are the Chargers. I don't know why the logos are different, but whatever. Nasir Adderley, they got, I believe, in the 2nd round. Derwin James fell to them in the draft. He's been pretty much a stud. Adderley's been kind of up and down, but I do think they're the best of the group here. My second one right here going to be look similar to the corners here. And this is Denver. They gave a boatload of money to Justin Simmons. Kareem Jackson, okay, maybe a little bit above average. Simmons is a stud. I don't know if he earned his money last season. He was good, but not as good as he was. I'm not so sure about that. And then I'm going to put KC here. Juan Thornhill, an absolute underrated playmaker. Reads okay. And I got to put the Raiders last here again. Here's why. Trayvon Merrick coming into the second season. He looked good last season. I'm wondering how he's going to play in a different type of defense. You know, he was just basically the center fielder. I think Patrick Graham's going to move him around a little bit more. Jonathan Abram hurt that shoulder again. Was not extended. This is going to be last season. I don't think he's going to be around. You could have other players here, but I don't know. I think this could be very well a liability. As far as our defense goes, our strength obviously is the edge rushing. And we're going to have to really kind of get to the quarterback more often. I think the run defense has been pretty solid, but the passing has been kind of suspect for a while. I'm hoping Coach Graham can pull some rabbits out of his hat and do some scheming a little bit better. That's one thing I didn't like about Gus Bradley. Everything was kind of predictable at times, and still would not rush the passer, blitz the passer, even though we weren't getting as much pressure with our front four in the second half of the season. So those are mine, and I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see. So those are my tiers. You can see each position right there, but I want to know what you have to say about this. Let's see. I like Fidgets. You're a great team for this. I appreciate all those likes. Hey, Antonk 2575. How you doing? I see you popping in here. Thank you very much coming in here. But I'm gonna leave this to you. I'm gonna throw it back to you guys. What do you guys think about this? So, do you think I was a little too harsh on the defensive side, a little too lenient on the offensive side? Put your comments in there and we'll get to those right now. Let's see. Sandy B says overall looks good. I think so too. I could go over the PFF rankings, but it'll probably piss you guys off. I can if you want. We can go over those. But they have the Chargers ranked the highest in the division. Remember, I had the Chiefs as our biggest rival still. And I ranked them number 1 in 4 categories. I ranked us number 1 in 3 positional categories. The Chargers were ranked number 1 and 2, and Denver was ranked number 1 in 1 category, running back. So PFF had the Chargers at 3, their power rankings for the whole league. Okay. Kansas City at 9, Denver at 14, and the Raiders at 21. You know, a team that won 10 games last season at 21, that means we don't make the playoffs, right? Seven teams in each conference, top 14 basically. A little variation if you have more than one or the other, but 21, that's way too low. But you know what, as Raider fans, we're used to it. We're used to the nonsense. They have, I believe they have Karlaftis almost ranked as, higher than Chandler Jones right now, and I'm really kind of, yeah, I can pull that up if you want. Let's see. And they have their own little rankings. Let me see. Where did I put that? There it is. Hang on. I'll pull that up right now. Here we go. So they don't have them listed. You have to kind of jump. I'll scroll this up. So this is the roster rankings that came out June 30th. So post-draft, mainly post-free agency. So let's see. Jump to the Raiders. The Raiders are 21st. And they cited the pass protection. To me, that's the biggest issue. I was looking forward to at least signing a veteran tackle. That has not happened yet. I'm hoping Leatherwood steps up. Brandon Parker's trash. We talked about that. Trayvon Mullen. What's going to happen with this guy? He had a 73.9 PFF. This is Chandler Jones, 66.9 grade. So these are the grades. We talked about this last season, if you were with us, going over some of the PFF scores. We actually did some videos, offense and defense. This is ridiculous. Denzel Perryman, 63.9. I mean, he's one of the best inside linebackers in the league last year. No respect at all whatsoever. Of course, they gave Devontae over a 90. 100, James 64. They got Parham at right guard. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to take that center position. Leatherwood 45.5. Wow, that's huge. That's Brandon Parker numbers right there. So Hankins low. I think that should be at least in the mid upper 50s. That's a little too low. Okay. Yeah. Mullen or Trayvon Merrick 71. Okay. This is a huge one for us. I'm concerned at corner. Nate Hobbs got a good one. Ron Harmon. They got him at strong safety over Jonathan Abram. I just want to look at the Chiefs here real quick. Let's see. So the Chiefs are 9th. They got Karlaftis at 87 already as a rookie. Hasn't even taken a snap yet. He's ranked higher than Chris Jones. Are you friggin' kidding me? Absolute joke that is. Chris Jones is a stud. Did pretty well on the outside. They move him inside, and he's even better. This is a joke. That's a joke. Not impressed here. Sky Moore 91.8. Wow. This is probably a little low. This is probably a little high in my opinion. Decent. Way too high. Not there. They got Kennard starting as a rookie. 91.9 already. Come on. It's a little bit of a learning curve. The absolute joke right there. Hey, Psycho Jackal, how you doing? Oh, yes, I just caught your live. Well, yeah, we went over the positions on TIERMAKER. And this is what I came up with. So we went by each position. And here are the rankings 1, 2, 3, and 4. Still an issue with the secondary, in my opinion. Defensive line, we're second here, but these two I'm not impressed with whatsoever. Big question mark here. I think a lot of people put us fourth here. I think Denver overplayed a little bit last season. I think a lot of that was strong running game, to be honest with you. I still have them number 1 with Gordon back. They signed him to a 1-year deal. So let's see. Hey, Carlos. Hey, Eric Games. How you doing? A lot of people kind of bouncing in and out of TikTok. Do appreciate you guys coming in here, though. Put your comments here. So here are my rankings. Put your comments here either in YouTube or TikTok where you're watching. If you agree, you disagree, have any other questions. As far as the next thing, next thing's going on for the Raiders. Hang on. Of course, July 18th starts training camp for the rookies. 20th for everybody else to come in. So we're starting a little early, of course, because we're going to be in that Hall of Fame game on the 4th of August against the Jags. So those are the big ones. We haven't signed anybody since. We were thinking maybe Ndamukong Suh. That hasn't happened. So we're thinking maybe Williams for tackle. That hasn't happened yet. So let's see. Hey, Raider Nation 140. Yes, sir. Raiders for life. That's right. Yeah, I wanted to be realistic, though. These are my rankings. You can see them by the logos, by the positions. I think we're pretty strong overall. I still think KC is the team to beat, of course. They've been there a while, and they've really done a good job of fixing that offensive line the last couple of years, to be honest with you. And then they got Karlaftis in the draft, so they can move Jones inside where he belongs. and that front four is going to be tough. I think they can be exploited as far as the passing game, though. The other two teams are kind of the opposite. I think their strength's more in the secondary, and I think their weaknesses is up the middle. We can run the ball on those guys. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. Yes, Diane, welcome to the show. Thank you. Of course, if you are enjoying this content, show me, and more importantly, show the algorithm on YouTube, on TikTok, by liking, by giving likes here, by giving a thumbs up in YouTube, by subscribing and following in TikTok. That's the way to show your support for this channel. Absolutely free, of course. Plus, if you do follow / subscribe, you're gonna be getting all of our live stream notifications. You click the bell notification in YouTube, hit it to all. You will be notified whenever I set up the next live stream rather. And we're going to be doing a lot more. We're going to be covering training camp. We're going to go over the 53-man roster cuts down to that. And then we're going to go over our schedule 2.0. We did the 1.0 already, where we predict wins and losses for this season. And then we're going to go into the season. We're going to have game previews, game reviews, and we go on at halftime of the game to talk about it for about 15-20 minutes and get right back to the game. And I put out my grades, and I put out what I think the Raiders need to do to win the game or hold on to the game. And then we're going to look at the schedule at the end of the season as well and see how we did with our predictions. So we have a lot of fun with this. So come join us now. You can stay up front. You can be with us live at our next live stream. You won't miss a beat. You can ask a question, Raider Nation 140. Go ahead. You put your questions in the chat, and I will be answering right away. Let's see. Put this right now. So why don't we go to... it's a little bit more unorthodox. What I'll do is I will put my face here. I usually have it over here. So if you have any questions, put them up right now. Also, keep in mind there's a little bit of a delay on both platforms. If you do write a question in chat, especially with TikTok, there could be a 20 or 30 second delay in the chat between the time you write it and send it to me seeing it and responding to you. Just to give you a heads up, okay? Let's see. Hey, Syrian23, I see you joining in. How you doing? We're just talking about the AFC West is a division. Who's strong where, who's weak where. We went through every position, and at least the positional starters. Running backs, I went with the backup too, because a lot of teams, you know, they're committee. I know I didn't talk about Kenyon Drake. I'm more focused on between the tackles. Of course, you got to catch the ball. I think Drake's better at that. I like Zeus here to spell Josh Jacobs in the third quarter. I talked about that before the draft, about getting a third quarter running back. Let's see. Any questions here? So normally we go on for about an hour. I started at 6 o'clock Pacific. I'm in California, so start about 6 o'clock Pacific, go about an hour. That's a good kind of stopping point that I've found. So Raider Nation 140 says, do you think the Raiders are going to do good this year? Yes, I do. And I explained a lot of it in my previous videos. If you specifically go on YouTube, I'll talk about that. I predict 11 wins. I did do our schedule 1.0, and I went over every single game week to week and put wins and losses and why. And I do think that. I think we're going to be 11-6 this season and have a shot at winning the division. I think KC still formidable, but they did lose Tyreek Hill. That's a big loss. I think they've gotten closer to the pack. This is probably going to be the most competitive division. And now you have Russell Wilson. I'm not saying he's at MVP form. He's probably lost a step or two. He looked a little declining. Let's be honest. Last season in Seattle, but he's still a hell of a lot better than Drew Lock was. So it's going to be a heck of a competitive division. And the Chargers, they're not happy, especially how they got punked in that play-in game. they did not play that well. Plus, their coach making that stupid decision at the end, could have settled for a tie and gotten into the playoffs. He didn't do it. So a lot of animosity here. And frankly, I think the other three teams are sick of seeing KC winning this division every year. And they've done a lot individually to contend. So it's going to be a barn burner. This division's insane. Plus, we play the NFC West this year, another tough division. So, and I got them winning 11 games. Last season, I had them winning 10 games, and they won 10 games. So, you have more. Just put your questions out there. Go for it. So, you have one more question. Sandy says, I think they will do well. Yeah, they're going to do well. I think. Honestly, let's be honest. I mean, I like Gruden. I like the cheerleading, the old school. But as far as the play calling and adjustments, he was holding us back. And like I said, I've made videos on that for his first 3 seasons and the stats and why I think as such. And you can kind of see it, especially at that San Diego game, that Monday night game where the power went out. That's weird, the Chargers power. The power didn't go out. The lightning strike. We had the lightning strike, but they're in a dome, but we can't play, and there was a delay, and we were discombobulated from the top down. You could see it, and you could see it by Gruden. It's kind of like it's football. They say is kind of like war. Of course, I don't want to over dramatize football, but people die in war. Obviously, football usually don't, but it's similar because you have your generals, your quarterback and your head coach. Those are kind of your generals, your field general and your off the field general. If they're not there, if they're not in the flow, then it's going to affect the team. And you could see that in that game, that Monday night game with the Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Gruden was all discombobulated, arguing, the delay, and it affected the team on the field. And Carr was kind of running for his life. It looked like he was hiding and sliding down, and Bosa was talking crap about it after the game. And then, we had all the turmoil. He was gone, the Ruggs thing, and it seemed like the players kind of banded together and found a way to get in the playoffs, win 10 games. It was a heck of a season. Raider Nation 140 says, who do you think will make the Super Bowl this year? It's going to be tough. The Raiders have a chance. I'm not going to say they're a lock. Buffalo, I did a TIERMAKER last live stream 2 weeks ago. I usually live stream every Friday, but right now there's not a whole lot to talk about, to be honest with you. So I do one every other week. 2 weeks from now, we'll be into training camp, and then we'll probably get back into that weekly thing because there'll be a lot more to talk about. But last week, I did an AFC power ranking tier. If you want to check that out, I have Buffalo as number 1, obviously. I have the Chiefs as number 2, and then I have the Raiders as number 3. So I would say Buffalo's the favorite right now overall. The Chiefs and the Raiders could definitely get in there. Maybe a couple of the teams could get kind of catch fire, kind of like Cincinnati did. I have Cincinnati ranked a little bit lower. I think they had a lot of. I'm not going to say they had a lot of. They had some luck. They're a good team, but I think they kind of performed their skill, to be honest with you. Not to say they couldn't make the playoffs, but to get to the Super Bowl, to get past the Chiefs, and the Bills lost to the Chiefs before that. I don't see that happening again for them. So I think the Raiders do have a chance. It's going to be tough. It's really going to be determined on how this new coaching staff works. We got Josh McDaniels, the new system. If you look in New England, they like to run the ball a lot. They like to run it with a bunch of different people. That's why I'm saying Zamir White is huge for us, because they like to run, like I said, run it with different people. He can run it in between the tackles, and Josh Jacobs gets hurt. Okay, he gets hurt. He gets worn down as the season goes on. He misses some games. It is what it is. It's a fact of life. I love Josh Jacobs when he's 100% healthy. You could argue he's got top 5 running back ability, but he's not that for a full season. So I expect to see that. I expect to see more Waller. I'm concerned about the offensive line. How's that going to shake out, especially if you look at this division, even all these pass rushers, it's gonna be tough. So, as far as that goes, the NFC I think is a lot more wide open, to be honest with you. Tampa with Brady still there. You still got Green Bay. They're a mess, but they're still a good team. The 49ers, solid team. What's going on with Trey Lance? Is he the answer? They're so good elsewhere, they don't really need it. I mean, Jimmy G got him to the NFC Championship game. So, and I don't think he's that great of a quarterback. He's probably an average quarterback at best, but the rest of the team was so good. And of course, you had the defending champions, the Rams. So, I think it's a lot more wide open. I think the Rams kind of shot their wad and got all the free agents and, got rid of all their draft picks to make this little mini run right now. And they could very well be back again. I wouldn't surprise me if it's a Raiders-Rams Super Bowl. Wouldn't that be funny, huh? Especially people like me in SoCal who've seen both teams here before. So, let's see. He also said, I love Daniel Carlson. Yeah, I like him too. He's very clutch. And I've made a couple videos. I put him on my game reviews, nice and big, where he's getting congratulated. That guy's huge. That guy was huge for us. I love Al, other players and coaches. Yeah, I'm very interested. Again, like I said, we have a new regime. We have a completely new regime. We have a new GM, new head coach, new defensive coordinator. We got a stud. I call them studs. I don't know why people are slamming Chandler Jones. He just averages over 10 sacks a year. I don't get that at all. We got him on one side. We got arguably the best wide receiver in the league on the other side, reuniting with his college teammate Derek Carr. I don't see the hate for this team, to be honest with you, unless it's just as general. Everybody hates the Raiders, and I really don't care about that. I want to go based on fact, And the fact is, this team is on the rise. It won 10 games last season, and frankly, I've said this before, it's in a prime location, Las Vegas. Hopefully the players can behave themselves, but it's a place players want to go to. And keep in mind, there is no state tax in Nevada. So a difference, like I said with Devontae Adams, I said that before, with him signing here versus Green Bay or even in my state, California, you've got a $2, $3, $4 million difference there for the same contract, and that's huge. That's huge. You can't avoid that. So, very attractive, great stadium. Keep your nose clean though. We've had some problems with that, not just with rugs. Let's see. Sirian is back. I appreciate you here. So we are almost at 1 hour. If you have any more questions, put them up here. Otherwise, we're gonna close this one out. I do appreciate each and every one of you here, especially my moderators. They do a heck of a job. Sandy B, Earth Daughter, Dominique 5. Great job overall with all of you guys. And again, like Sandy B says, if you are enjoying this, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, follow if you're on TikTok. That's the way the algorithm knows it, and it'll help support the channel absolutely free. And I do appreciate each and every one of you. Let's see if we've got any more questions here. I'll give it a few more seconds. Yeah, I appreciate those likes as well, Raider Nation 140. If you can look me up I know you're on TikTok. I have a ton of videos on YouTube. I've been doing this for about 1.5 years now. I've got about 250 videos. You can take a look at those. Take a look at our projections. Not only did I give mine, I get your opinion as well. So we keep track of that. And as a consensus, I know everybody doesn't, fully agree with all the picks, but as a consensus, yours and mine, we're going to do that right before the season starts. So get on with us. I appreciate you. I love you too, Sandy Eclectic. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all the support. So I'm going to wait a few more seconds. If there are any questions, otherwise we're going to close this one. Let's see. this up. We'll put this graphic up. There we go. And I'll move myself over here. There we go. So this is my social media. You can see this. This is where I'm at. YouTube. And then I started doing TikTok a couple months back. I like that for the shorts and the live streams. A little bit less restrictions. I like that. But YouTube I enjoy as well. A lot of Raider fans there as well. So I loved the Thanksgiving game last year. I was kind of a nervous wreck. We did dominate. I think especially with when Waller went down, Raider Nation 140. It got me a little bit nervous, and we went to overtime. We never should have went to overtime with that team. We dominated most part. We let them back in the game, but we did close it out and win the game. So given that, I'm going to close this one out. Thank you guys. As always, thank you for your support. I'll probably be back probably 2 weeks for training camp. Training camp will just be getting started about that time. Unless, of course, some craziness happens. We sign Ndamukong Suh. Some other craziness happens within the team, then I'll come on as well. Otherwise, it'll probably be 2 weeks from now, and then we'll do the week-to-week as we normally do, usually on Fridays. So thank you guys, and as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the year?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players, you have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.